So a thin amount right on the seam. I'm gonna take a pair of tweezers. I'm gonna set them on the top and bottom of the seam. I want them to be parallel with the seam so that way they're setting directly on top of the seam. Okay? Open up the valve. I'm gonna turn it just slightly to the left to open up the valve, and you can hear the gas coming out. You don't want to hear it blaring out. You just want to have a little bit coming out of the torch. So I'm gonna open it up a little bit, and we're good. All right. Now, when I start heating this, your flux is going to be kind of the one that gauges the heat of the metal for you. As I start heating this, I'm doing slow circular movements around my metal. You know what, and to be honest with you, hold off on your notes for a moment. Just watch, if you can see this, watch the metal, watch the flux. You're gonna end up the flux, it gets like this white crusty look, almost like toothpaste dried up on the side of your face. And then when it goes away from having that look, it'll have kind of a glistening look. I might crank it up just a little bit. So it's starting to get a little bit shinier. I see my pieces are a little bit apart, so I'm going to, there we go, bump them back together so that way the seam's tight. Do not solder until your seams are very tight. All right, so I can tell by looking at the metal that I'm getting close. Real quick, when this solder melts, I'm gonna go do a zigzag pattern back and forth between the two pieces along the seam, kind of coaxing the solder to go into the seam. Does that make sense? So if you see me doing that, you'll know why. So I'm gonna go back to heating this up. All right, so I'm going back and forth, starting to melt. And we're good. Okay, so now the next step, I'm gonna take it with some tweezers and I'm gonna quench it. And I can pick it up with my hands. Now, if you look at this, I'm gonna show this real quick. I got a little bit of a mess with solder on there, pulled out a little bit. However, it did cover my seam really well if I look at the front and the back of it. I'm gonna drop it in there, close that up, and I'm gonna put it in there for 5 minutes. When the 5 minutes are up, I'm gonna bring it over here, rinse it off under water, dry it off, and we're good.